In 2018, a researcher at the University of Calgary published a paper that most people ignored. The paper wasn't about physics or outer space or unidentified phenomena. It was about guilt. Specifically, why some people feel guilty about things they haven't even failed at yet. At the time, the study received very little attention, but its findings greatly contradicted decades of conventional wisdom. Conventional wisdom said that people who put things off were simply lazy or bad at managing their time. The Calgary paper suggested something else, something that, if true, would mean almost everything we've been told about procrastination was backward. For decades, the standard advice for procrastination was simple: be harder on yourself, push through, toughen up, build discipline. The problem is that advice makes things worse. In 2010, a team of psychologists at Carleton University decided to test this. They asked students to track their procrastination habits over an entire semester, and they also measured something else: how much the students blamed themselves. The results were remarkably clear. Students who punished themselves for procrastinating did not improve. They actually procrastinated more. The guilt created additional negative emotion, which triggered the same escape response. The more you hate yourself for avoiding the work, the more you need to avoid the work. Which brings us to the counterintuitive solution, one that sounds almost too simple to believe. Self-compassion, not lowering your standards, not giving yourself permission to be lazy, but simply forgiving yourself. In the same Carleton study, students who practiced self-forgiveness after procrastinating were significantly more likely to start their next task, not because they felt less pressure, but because they broke the circle of shame. The discomfort was acknowledged and then released, and without the discomfort, the brain no longer needed to escape. Now, I should be clear. This does not mean procrastination is easy to overcome. It means the standard models, the one that calls procrastinators lazy, is incomplete. And incomplete explanations lead to useless solutions. Because if procrastination is really a discipline problem, the more discipline is the answer. But if procrastination is an emotional regulation problem, then the answer looks very different. It looks like noticing that ill feeling, the discomfort before you reach for your phone. It looks like saying, "I'm afraid this won't be perfect," not because saying it fixes anything, but because unspoken fears are harder to reason with. It looks like beginning the task for just 2 minutes with no expectation of finishing. Because the hardest part is never the work itself. It's the moment before the work, the anticipation. Once you begin, the anticipation disappears, and what felt impossible becomes merely uncomfortable. And discomfort, unlike impossible, is survival. These are not motivational tricks. They are behavioral shortcuts. And they work because they target the start, not the finish. A simple truth that most productivity gurus ignore. So, what exactly are we supposed to do with this information? Well, for one thing, stop watching videos about procrastination. Not because they aren't useful, but because you already know what you are avoiding. And watching one more video will not make it less uncomfortable. It will only make the deadline closer. The task is not your enemy, neither is your brain. The only enemy is the story you tell yourself about what it means to begin. And that story can be rewritten, not overnight, not perfectly, but one uncomfortable, self-compassionate moment at a time. That's what I wanted to say. I have something else I've been meaning to start, and I think you also do.